y'all. How are you today? It's Wednesday and it is cold outside. Sorry, I had something pop up on my screen over here and I'm trying to get it off there. It is cold outside and I don't like it. I was enjoying the warmer weather, but it is what it is. We just have to be thankful for every day that the Lord gives us. It's been a busy day and I'm a little bit late getting on, but it seems like this is the best time for me to get on too with my schedule. So earlier this week I talked about how important it is, the people that are in your circle, but then the Lord has dealt with me a little bit about who is in your circle, and he also dealt with me about my faith. And so that leads me to Mark chapter 5, and it's talking about Jesus' healing, and I'm going to start at trying to decide where I want to start, verse 30. And it's the woman who had been bleeding for years. She had been bleeding for years. And she just knew if she touched the hem of his garment, just even any portion of his garment, any portion, that she would be healed. So verse 30, it says, Jesus realized at once that the healing power had gone out of him. So he turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" His disciples said to him, "All this crowd is pressing around you. How can you ask, 'Who touched me?'" They're kind of, really, Jesus? How are you going to ask that question with all of these people around? But he kept on looking around to see who had done it. Then the frightened woman, trembling at the realization of what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet and told him what she had done. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. You have been healed." Daughter. He didn't call her by her name, even though he knew her name. We know that he knows our names. He didn't call her by her name. He called her daughter. That's to let her know that she belonged to him. Daughter, your faith has made you whole. How amazing is that? She just knew that all she had to do was just touch the hem of his garment or just touch his clothing and she would be healed. She wasn't even like so many of us want to get right in somebody's face and, talk to them and work, do all of that. She didn't even want to do that. She just wanted to touch his clothing because she knew just touching his clothing, the clothing that he wore, would heal her. That's the kind of faith that she had. And to me, that is just, that is powerful faith. That is crazy faith. That is amazing faith. That is just big faith. While he was still speaking to her, messengers arrived from Jairus' home with a message. "Your daughter is dead. There's no use in troubling the teacher now." But Jesus ignored their comments and said to Jairus, "Don't be afraid. Trust me." So even when we get that bad news, even when we get that bad report, even when we see things that in our mind's eye are horrible, that in our mind's eye there's no way you're going to make it through this, in our mind's eye, which our mind can play tricks on us because that's where the enemy works, Jesus said, "Don't be afraid. Trust me." That's powerful in itself. Don't be afraid. He tells us often not to be afraid. And he says God did not give us a spirit of fear or timidity, but one of boldness and strength. Don't be afraid. Just trust me. Then Jesus stopped the crowd and wouldn't let anyone go with him except Peter, James, and John. When they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw the commotion and weeping and wailing. He went inside and spoke to the people. "Why all this weeping and commotion?" he asked. The child isn't dead. She is only asleep. The crowd laughed at him. And I feel like Jesus got laughed at a lot. Because some of the things that he said, they were like, they scoffed at him and laughed at him and made fun of him. But he told them to all go, but he told them all to go outside. Then he took the girl's father and mother and his 3 disciples into the room where the girl was laying. Holding her hand, he said to her, "Get up, little girl." And the girl, who was 12 years old, immediately stood up and walked around. Her parents were absolutely, don't worry, I just washed my hands, absolutely overwhelmed. Jesus commanded them not to tell anyone what had happened, and he told them to give her something to eat. In my Bible, because it's in red letters, I scratched that little girl and I put "Get up, Kelly." Because a lot of times I need to read this verse and I need him to speak directly to me. And I need to have that crazy faith. I need to have that faith. I need to have that big faith. I need to be reminded of what he can do. So today, no matter what you're facing, no matter what you're going through, no matter what the situation looks like, don't be afraid. Just trust me. That's all we have to do. That's all he's asking us to do. That's all he just wants us to trust him. Sometimes he brings us to a season of isolation, loneliness. So we do learn that. We learn that all we have to do is trust him. And he will lead us through, and he will guide us, and he will give us strength, and he will give us all that we have need of. Maybe not everything that we want, but he will give us all that we have need of. So again, this lady, she'd been to the doctor. She'd gone through everything. She'd been to everybody. She had been suffering for so long. It was just so much worse. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And she heard about Jesus. She heard about Jesus, like I talked about yesterday. Somebody had to tell her about him, and that's our job. Somebody needs to tell somebody about him. She heard about Jesus, so she came up behind him through the crowd and touched the fringe of his robe. Just the fringe of his robe, just the hem of his garment. That's all she touched. Immediately the bleeding stopped. Does that mean that immediately no, sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes he doesn't heal in the time that we want. And sometimes, like with my dad, I just knew the Lord was going to heal him because I'd been praying for that healing for so long. I just knew. But the Lord gently reminded me that sometimes the healing comes on the other side of heaven. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that my dad took his last breath here in a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort. And he took his first breath in heaven whole and healed. What an amazing testimony. What amazing. That's just amazing to me. But Jesus even realized that somebody touched him because of their faith that they had in him, just touching his clothes. He knew that somebody touched his clothes. And he called her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. You have been healed." And he told Jairus, "Don't be afraid. Trust me." That's what he's still saying to us today. Child, you are mine. You are healed. Don't be afraid. Trust me. So today, whatever you're facing, I pray that you will trust him and that you will know that he's walking with you through the troubles. I got something stuck in my throat. Sorry. Tonight we have youth. We have youth at 6 and 7, K through 5th at 6, and 6 through 12th at 7. We are having breakfast, many different things. We're going to have scrambled eggs, I believe, sausage balls, a hash brown casserole, and a cinnamon casserole, or cinnamon roll casserole, I think is what it is. So if your child needs a ride, please text the church number 918-399-5956, and we will make sure that they get picked up. I want to thank our sponsors, Don and Sheila Ferris, Kim Morris, Gordon and Dee Kennard, Stacy Reese at My Travel Misha, Genesis Home Health, Parco Tax, the Watkins family, and Travis and Maddie Holloway. Thank you all for pouring into our ministry. I talked about yesterday where I'm planning a girls' week camp from May the 20th to May the 24th, ages 13 through 18. If you are interested in helping with that camp, please just get in touch with me. And if you want to sponsor that camp or sponsor a portion of that camp, I would greatly, 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 greatly appreciate it, because the funds are going to be spent directly on those girls. So we have church regular services 9 and 11. There will be baptism after the second service this weekend, which is so amazing and so grateful for. But come out and join us at 9 and 11 Sunday morning. Worship has been amazing, and the word has been spot on and so needed. So come join us. It's better in person than it is on live, but I know sometimes you got to be at home. So if you can, come join us in services. I hope you all have a great, great day. Stay warm. And what a drastic change from yesterday to today. We really did just have that first fake spring. Now we'll probably have this couple of days of winter. We'll have another fake spring, and then a little bit more winter, and hopefully we'll get it all out, and it'll just start into real spring. So have a great day. I hope to see you back here tomorrow. Bye.